Pressure is mounting on U.S. President Joe Biden to call for an outright ceasefire in the Middle East. American diplomats are warning there's growing anger in Arab nations over the U.S. stance and Biden's stance personally on the Israel-Hamas war. Let's go to our bureau in Washington and Cameron McIntosh reporting for us today. President Biden has been unwavering in his support for Israel. Where are these calls for him to sort of change his stance? Where are they coming from, Cameron?
Well, Heather, all along we've heard some Democrats say they're uncomfortable with the scale of the Israeli response, and that appears to be spreading through the administration. CNN is reporting that it's obtained 2 cables from U.S. diplomats in the Middle East, one in Oman, reportedly raised concerns that the U.S. is, quote, losing Arab publics for a generation. Similar concerns have also been expressed by the embassy in Cairo. Now, President Biden has refused to publicly call for an outright ceasefire. He's been calling for pauses in the fighting. Officials have said privately, though, that the president is hoping Israel will pull back. Israel is now agreeing to 6-hour tactical pauses to allow civilian evacuation. But there are growing signs the administration is not comfortable with what is happening in Gaza. This was Secretary of State Antony Blinken this morning in India.
Much more needs to be done to protect civilians and to make sure that humanitarian assistance reaches them. Far too many Palestinians have been killed. Far too many have suffered these past weeks, and we want to do everything possible to prevent harm to them and to maximize the assistance that gets to them.
Now, of course, the big U.S. worry here is the longer this goes, the more likely this becomes a regional conflict. While publicly Biden is trying to support a longtime U.S. ally, he is facing growing backlash. And is there any tangible measure of that backlash, what it's doing to Biden's support as he runs for re-election, Cameron? Well, certainly we're seeing it anecdotally. Now there's an AP poll that found only 50% of Democrats approve of his handling of the war. He's also facing calls from aid agencies, unions, and most recently a big group of 2020 Biden campaign workers, all calling for a ceasefire. So this is starting to run through his base, all while congressional Democrats demand more transparency about what $14 billion in military aid to Israel is being spent on, complaining they're just not seeing the same sort of transparency as they've been seeing for Ukraine. The administration says it can waive normal congressional approvals in order to get more aid to Israel quickly.
Cameron McIntosh in Washington, thank you very much.